Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
Welcome to episode 63 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, one half of the Membership Guys, and this is the show in which we dispense proven practical tips and advice for growing a successful membership website. And in this episode, we're talking membership myths. Now, every topic in every industry has its fair share of bad advice, outdated information, and dubious best practices. And there's certainly a lot of that out there when it comes to the subject of membership websites. Now, as with most subjects, it can be a bit of a minefield trying to maneuver around the misinformation. So, to help you out, we picked out 8 of the most common myths about creating and running a membership, and we're going to bust them right here in this episode. So the first myth is that everyone should run a membership site. Now, there's plenty of internet marketers who tell you that you need to be running a membership site and that everybody can and should do it. Truth be told, it's not for everyone. Dealing with customer service issues, producing a regular stream of content, continuously having to come up with fresh ways of keeping the masses engaged and paying for your site, there can be a definite grind that won't be how many people want to spend their time. On top of that, you actually need to have something to teach or a result that you can help people to achieve. So the pressure is on you to deliver, to show up, and to serve your community. For some, that's a bit of a shock to the system, particularly if you're switching from a predominantly one-on-one service-based business. So a membership site might not be right for every kind of person. So that first myth that everyone needs to be running a membership site, we've definitely got to bust that one right now. Now, Kevin Costner and that blooming film, The Field of Dreams, has a lot to answer for when it comes to this second myth, and that's the idea that if you build it, they will come. Now, we all want to think that our membership site is the one thing that's missing from the world. It's the one thing everyone's waiting for, and that its arrival will be met with rapturous applause and ravenous swarms of customers just begging you to let them sign up. The reality is, nobody will notice. Nobody will care. Unless you give them a reason to. Simply building your membership site isn't enough. The work doesn't end when your site launches, that's when the real work begins. So you need to make sure that you have an audience and you have a way of actually communicating to them about your membership and about why it's a worthwhile investment of their time, their attention, and of course, their money. The third myth is that membership sites are easy money. Now, those 2 words, passive income, that's the holy grail of business, right? Now, sure, membership sites can be a fantastic business to run as your recurring income builds month on month. However, that doesn't mean it's easy or that it's a hit and run cash grab opportunity. Unlike other forms of information products where the customer journey concludes with a purchase, with membership sites, that's when your customer journey starts, and your responsibility is to continuously deliver a product and to deliver value that your members will pay for on an ongoing basis. So if you're looking to get rich quick with minimal effort, then you're probably going to want to pursue a different option. And good luck with that, because people have been chasing this passive income golden goose for years. The reason being, it simply doesn't exist. There's not many people, other than Tim Ferriss, who read the 4-hour work week, who are actually working 4 hours a week. So put this idea of passive income out of your head, especially when it comes to membership sites. The next myth is that membership sites are difficult to set up. Now, we're not going to pretend that setting up your membership is a walk in the park, but it can be a lot easier than most people think, especially if your requirements are pretty straightforward. Now, sure, some of the membership plugins on the market are pretty complex, pretty comprehensive, and more suited to technically minded people. But if you just need a single membership level, maybe some basic protection, nothing complicated, not too many bells and whistles, then a lot of the options that are out there should be straightforward enough for even the biggest Luddites to be able to get things going. What we almost always find is that a membership setup is as complicated as you make it, and usually where it gets more complex and where it gets frustrating is when you're trying to make stuff happen that your system simply isn't designed to happen, and usually this stuff isn't important. You can get a membership site up and running in a single afternoon if you keep your requirements straightforward and avoid overcomplicating things. Now, speaking of membership plugins, it's time for one of my personal biggest pet peeves, the next myth, and that's the idea that there is a single best all-round membership plugin. Now, we see this come up regularly in Facebook groups and in other communities, where someone will come in, they'll ask for plugin recommendations, and then they'll get flooded with responses from people who are adamant that their particular favorite plugin is the absolute best plugin on the market, and anyone who thinks otherwise is an absolute idiot. Now, often these recommendations are made with little to no discussion or no attempt to discover what the requirements of the actual person asking the question are. And usually these recommendations come from people with no real technical knowledge and extremely limited experience of building membership websites. Or even worse, people who are just shilling their affiliate link or the plugin that one of their friends built, and they're certainly not helped by the fact that a lot of reviews out there in the market are actually from friends of the people who built the very plugin that's being reviewed. There's a great deal of different membership plugins out there, many of which have totally different features that will be suitable for different people and different circumstances. There is no one-size-fits-all solution, and the only way to determine what plugin is best for you is to figure out what features you need and then research the options that are available. And by the way, if you haven't already seen it, make sure you head to themembershipguys.com and download our kick-ass plugin comparison chart, which will really speed up and help you figure out which of the membership plugins on the market are right for you. And if you go to the membershipguys.com/episode 63, so that's the number 6, the number 3, then you'll see the show notes and you'll see a link to the plugin comparison chart in there that you can download. The next myth is that you need to have all of your content ready before you launch your membership. Now, what tends to happen when you plan to create your membership site is you want to create all of the content you're going to be offering to your members in advance. If your site's mainly based around one or more epic courses, then it would stand to reason that you'd write, record and produce those courses before you even think about opening your doors. However, it's entirely feasible to launch a membership site with absolutely no content whatsoever, and indeed many people do just that. If your membership offers live training, ongoing coaching, or is primarily community-based, then your product isn't pre-created static content. It's content that's produced in real time. So until you have members on board, then you're not actually creating any content at all. That same approach can be taken with your epic course too. So rather than recording hours of lessons, you could deliver the course in real time to your first wave of members via live streaming. Then you record and edit those live sessions into what then becomes static content for your future members. So your first wave of members get to attend the creation of your courses. So again, you're not producing content until after you picked up members and started making money. The next big myth that always makes me chuckle is this idea that you have to launch big. Now, it's easy to get lost in dreams of a 6-figure launch for your membership site. That perfect scenario where we open the doors for a humble little project, only to find it's an instant sensation that has people falling all over themselves to hand you bundles of cash. And if you read any article about product launches or indeed most internet marketing blogs, it's easy to see where that fantasy comes from. In reality, a membership site launch is often very different to a regular information product launch, in that it's not one and done. You're always in launch mode, you're always trying to attract members, constantly improving and building on your offer. So sure, it's nice to have a huge raft of new members on the first day, but it's not essential, and it can be just as effective a strategy to take a slow burn, longer term approach with your membership site in order to establish and maintain the right sort of community dynamic, and also better handle the burden of customer support. That can work so much better for you than pinning everything, all of your hopes and the future success of your membership on that initial launch and trying to pack in as many people as you can. And if I can give you just one tip, it's to ignore all of these braggadocious people on social media, on their own blogs, talking about how they put in 2 hours of work and now they have an 8-figure launch, because 90% of it is BS and the rest of it, you're only getting the tip of the iceberg. And when you dig deeper, you find out that those huge launches have an army of affiliates behind them. They have all sorts of expenses, massive ad spend, and that 7-figure launch very quickly becomes 5 figures when you take away all of the affiliate payments, all of the refunds, all the failed billing, and so on and so on. And the final myth is that you should focus your attention on bringing in new members. So far too often people spend so much time worrying about getting people in the front door that they ignore what happens once they're in the building and they don't spot them slipping out the back. Much of the advice, the articles and the podcasts that you'll get out there focus on customer acquisition, generating traffic and leads, converting those to sales. However, with memberships, it's what comes next that's even more important, and that's going to be key to your long-term success. It can take up to 7 times more to win a new member than it does to retain an existing one, so it's absolutely crucial that your acquisition strategy is complemented by effective onboarding, engagement and member retention strategies too, because if you're not retaining, you just have a leaky bucket where you're constantly pouring in water and wondering why it's never full, not noticing that you've sprung a leak all over the place because you have nothing in place to onboard your members effectively and make sure they stick around and continue paying month after month after month. And of course, you need to make sure that what you're actually offering lives up to the promise, lives up to the hype, because selling a product that's all flash and no substance simply won't work in the long term, and you'll find that members simply won't stick around beyond their first payment. So those are the 8 most common myths that we encounter when it comes to membership websites. Hopefully you haven't fallen foul of any of those myths. But if you have, please do let us know. Give us a shout at Membership Guys, or let us know in our Facebook group, talkmemberships.com. If you've had bad advice when creating your membership site, we always love to hear from you, and we reply to any of the messages you send as well. So definitely give us a shout and let us know of your experiences with those membership myths. That's it from another episode of the Membership Guys podcast. Thank you so much for downloading the show. Thank you so much for your ratings, your reviews, your feedback. I'll be back again very soon with another episode. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out the membersiteacademy.com. The Member Site Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing and running a membership website. So whether you're still figuring out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Member Site Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Member Site Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership website. So check it out at membersiteacademy.com.